We're on the Six Screens Telenetwork, the go-to site for your infinite source of precise, reliable, and factual material exposing the Watchtower organization.
Well, hello everyone and welcome in. We have got Linda James, your favorite apostate. She is known as Aposta Babe, and she's here with us tonight. She's coming in from Southern California, and we're so glad to have her with us. She burns the midnight oil here at the Six Screens. So she's got some things she wants to talk to us about tonight. So why don't you dial into Linda and listen to her program. She's here on YouTube and a number of other platforms as well. So let's add Linda to the stream here. Hello, Linda.
Hi, Rick. How are you?
Well, I tell you what, if I told you I was doing excellent, would you believe it?
I would, yes. We just had Barbara on. Of course, we're excellent.
Well, what I'm looking at here is Barbara. She's a extraordinary researcher. You know, she goes back to the Ray Franz days and what have you. So I've been in contact with her, and well, she actually contacted me. She's the one that said,
really?
She contacted me and said, Rick, I want to get a lot of information on the Six Screens. So, you know, she notices that this is the place where ex-Jehovah's Witnesses and active doubting Jehovah's Witnesses, this is where they come to talk. So she likes our platform. She believes that we're, trying to do the best we can to get people's attention and talk to them about the Watchtower. So she contacted me and says, Rick, I want to come on the Six Screens.
Awesome.
So that's awesome, right? So that's good for all of us. That's good for all of us. It helps your program, my program. She got, and really, I couldn't believe it, but she's got over 12,000 clicks, views since she's been on here in 2 weeks.
Oh, I believe it. Yes.
They all know her name, and so she's really a gangbuster here. Is doing good. So that's helping all of us, Linda. So we're glad to have her with us. And boy, I'll tell you, I've noticed that her tempo has changed. She's usually been pretty soft on the Watchtower, but she's starting to get hard. She's starting to play hardball,
Yep.
So that's
and you still hear her fondness of her time in the organization, because that is good memories. When we leave something, when it finally affects our conscience enough for us to leave something that's toxic, we still mourn the good times, because there was good times, even within a toxic group or relationship or anything else. So I also enjoy hearing her speak of the beautiful times that she had there and the stories that she tells us. I just love it.
Yeah, what because Barbara, she has so much information that sometimes it's hard for her to contain it. So I said, Barbara, we're going to go nice and slow. She got a little into the weeds tonight, but next few times she comes on, we're going to kind of corral her in a little bit. We'll stay at the business at hand. But what happens is she's such a wealth of information. She just can't. She has a unbelievable memory. She just remembers all of this and wants to spill the beans. But she talked about her childhood, how she became a witness tonight, and going to Bethel. And now when she comes on in 2 weeks, she's going to be talking about Noor. She's going to be talking about some of the real creeps in the Watchtower. So that's in 2 weeks. So we're looking forward to that.
Okay.
So
sounds good.
You're going to be dealing with the Dubtown tonight and talking about that and some other things. I'm glad you're bringing it up. We didn't have time to do it tonight on the news, but bring it up and talk about it. So give me about 5 minutes. I'm going to get up and stretch around here a little bit, just kind of walk around a little bit. So give me that time, and I'll be right back on with you. Thank you, Linda.
Sure. Hello, this is Apostate Babe Linda James, your favorite apostate. It's really good to be here, and it was really enjoyable to listen to Barbara Anderson, the show just before mine. It's been 20 years since Dateline, and the things that were exposed by way of her and William Bowen. But it wasn't just them. It was a whole team that you didn't see behind them as well. This is also the anniversary today of 5 years ago. Some apostates decided to take this date that started, like, I don't know when. It was kind of like apostate lore or something, when they were going to go to Bethel, or the headquarters, on November 5th, 2017. So this thing just kept talking. They kept mentioning it, and then it happened. And it turned out to be a very, very positive, I think positive event. The people that showed up, brought their signs. Of course, Rick is a sign maker. So he had all these different signs that people could just spread out and hold. And Rick is going to play a song, no, not a song, but a video by Kevin McFree. Kevin McFree is the creator of Dubtown. Dubtown is the best. See, I have my coffee cup here. This is from the Kevin McFree cartoons, where it shows here beard fractions. You're not allowed to have a full beard. You're only allowed to have beard fractions. So I got this from merch from his channel, and I dig his work. It's I guess it's called stop animation. So I don't know how long it takes for him to make these videos, but the humor that he displays through the different characters is priceless. Absolutely priceless. And the other day on Twitter, somebody made a post that he had a new video out. Oh my goodness, I was so excited I couldn't wait to go watch it. So I did. And it's a good video. So I do want all of you guys to please go to his channel this week. Go to Kevin McFree's channel. That's what it's called. It's not called Dubtown. But once you get there, you'll see that these videos are called Dubtown or whatever. But the YouTube channel is called Kevin McFree. And as I was re-looking at these different videos, I came across one that he put together that gave an account for the November 5th, 2017 protest. And he did it through his Dubtown stop animation, and it is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. He even put in the words and the voices of some of the people that were there, such as Gilbert Gonzalez, GG for GB. He's been showing up for our shows, and he's also been coming in and saying a few things here and there. And Zeb, you could hear Zeb's voice. So it's really, I thought it would be a really nice thing to do, to watch that tonight, and maybe talk about where you were, if you were in the community at that time, if you remember that day. I remember there was all these different apostates that were filming, and if you knew their channels, you'd kind of catch up on who's doing what and where. And Rick Farron was there too. So like I said earlier, he brought plenty of signs, so people had these signs that they could all hold up, and a lot of people brought their own signs, and I thought they were very, very clever. I thought the signs were very clever. I thought they were well done. One of them said something to the effect of, Christmas was fun, you lied, or something. It was great. You can't unsee, certain things. But they were well put together. I am still shocked. I'm just going to switch gears here. I'm still shocked from Barbara's show just before mine, talking about John 1:1. Yes, she said, she's not necessarily stating that the Trinity was promoted, but that whoever she was talking to confirmed that John 1:1 was defined as the Word was God rather than a God. Earlier writings, even at the time of Rutherford, Jesus was spoken of as someone to worship. When you make Jesus a God, then he is not someone to worship, because you would only worship the God Jehovah. So hearing this confirms that Jesus is worthy of worship. The organization has made Jesus out to be Michael the Archangel. There's a few, when you go down just a few more scriptures from John 1:1, I believe it's John 1:3, it says that not one thing was made without him. So there's all creation, and then there's the creator. So it speaks of Jesus being the creator, meaning the Word was the creator. Is someone there? Did you want to add something? Hello?
The thing that struck
Okay.
me tonight was when she mentioned about not being ministers and not being members.
Not being members. Yeah, I missed that part. This is interesting. I remember.
So we know they don't care about us, but they're pulling away legally so that they don't have any responsibility for us either if we're not ministers and we're not members.
Yes, I remember that. And that not members has started a few years back, this differentiation of what members were called. They were no longer called members, but more a different term.
Right? Or
I'm kind of.
Remember when she mentioned that, she said she brought up the subject of agency.
Yes.
Yes.
So she didn't mention those two things in a vacuum. She mentioned them with regard to the subject of agency. And she said that is something that could be discussed in the future.
Well, that's real important.
You could have a parent agency. You know, you know something. Remember in the olden days when the public talks were given, and they used to use the term Mr. So-and-so, and it would be for the next 55 minutes, and they would often say, this is a representative of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society.
Yes.
Yes.
They used to do that, and then they stopped doing that because to announce that this person's a representative of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, I guess that question of agency would come in there.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good subject. Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to say that. Go ahead, talk. I'm listening.
How are you doing? Good to hear.
Oh, I'm doing fine.
Good.
Yeah, I always like to hear Barbara Anderson talk because, you know, when she talks about becoming a witness and her life as a witness, she talks about the witnesses the way I remember, the way I grew up with. She sounds like the witnesses I grew up with, not necessarily with so many Bethel speakers. You know, we got Bethel speakers maybe every 3 or 4 months, but her feeling, she sounds like she was a witness to me when I hear her talk. And I like that she doesn't just, I like that she has her viewpoint of the way things were, and she doesn't quickly change them.
Yes.
You know, when she's asked a question, she still states how she feels about it. She doesn't just go along.
Well, she had some good times. The other shocking point was the membership numbers.
Mm-hmm.
She said 2 to 3 million, not 8 million.
I tend to agree with that estimate, and that's.
She said she was
I'm sorry.
by what she was told. She said
Okay.
she didn't say that was her own estimate. She said she's going by what she was told, and I thought that she associated with COVID. After COVID,
Good point.
people have been. Yeah, she said I'm going along with what I was told, And then she gave that number, and she mentioned after COVID. And remember, she said that people, after, you have that kind of freedom, now all of a sudden you're going to go back to doing exactly what somebody else wants you to do. So all those little things, even when she was asked, do the governing body have palatial homes? Her answer to that was, when you visit another branch, and she mentioned Argentina and other branches.
Yes.
But I don't think that she was saying they have palatial homes like we've been led to believe, that they've got homes along the river.
But she did mention that whole floor in the old days, so maybe they've got a whole floor in the new places.
She said Noor had a whole floor at 124 Columbia Heights. Fred Franz was in 124 Columbia Heights, and Fred Franz had a room.
Right. Okay.
Fred Franz's room was described to me by another brother, and he said it's very, I guess you would say, Spartan austere, is the way Fred Franz's room was. And he said that the foot of the bed was much higher than the head of the bed. The foot was higher than the head.
That's so smart. That's so smart.
There's that thing about you're supposed to, if you sleep with your feet higher than your head, you get better rest.
Yes.
Well,
yeah, it's
Fred Franz.
The older we get, our ankles tend to swell. So to bring the swelling down, we want our ankles higher than our heart. So you would prop your feet up on pillows to get that. So to have that bed already set up like that just seems seems like it's practical and smart. I'll tell you what, when you Google Fred Franz, you will see him in a plaid red shirt and a necktie. And for some reason, he pulls it off like it's supposed to be this way. And I just have never seen any I know, it's like a plaid shirt, but it is red.
Flannel shirt.
Red flannel shirt with a red tie. It actually works. On Fred Franz, it worked. I've never seen another brother in this attire, but he rocked it. He rocked it. Frederick Franz. If you ever get a chance to Google him, and he's holding like this Bible, and he's giving this really nice smile, like he's recognizing a good friend, like he just saw a good friend. It's a good picture of him, actually. I wanted to just talk a little bit about my health this week. I've been going to the doctors, and I have a nurse coming in like every day or every other day. I have some wounds on my legs that were not healing, so that had me concerned. I'm thinking, am I diabetic or something? So I've been having a nurse coming every day or every other day to change my bandages because I could not make it heal. Now, see, I'm a mother of 3 kids. I know how to make a wound heal, but I couldn't make my wounds heal. So that was also part of my.
Yeah, that's news indeed.
Thank you. And I admitted to you guys last week that I have this whole white coat phobia and everything. And when I mention the things I struggle with, I'm not saying it so that I'm not trying to be all poor me. I just want you all to know that I too am healing. I too am facing some of the things that you are facing as well, and that's normal. Even 40 years out, it's normal to have our struggles because of our history, either in the org, from trauma in the org, or our upbringing. And I just wanted to share that. I still I have an appointment for the doctors on Monday, so I will keep you guys updated. And it was just very nice to hear the concern last week, and I appreciate that. But yes, so that's the update on my health. This week I have felt much better. They started me on a couple of antibiotics. When I went to see this new doctor, she took me off of one antibiotic and put me on another. So I feel very monitored, you know. Every time the nurse comes out, they're like monitored, like they're monitored, like they're keeping, yeah, like they're, all the nurses are writing notes and stuff like that, what medicine they're using on me and what antibiotics I'm taking and stuff like that. So I feel very like people are keeping an eye on me, and that feels very good. I feel very nurtured.
Good.
It does feel good. And I didn't realize, you know, that I was going to experience that. I feel like I'm getting very good care. So here I am with my white coat phobia, but I feel like I'm getting good care, and I got myself some stickers. Yes, I did, because I have to reward myself when I do things that where I face my phobias. So yeah, but yeah, having Barbara on was just amazing. I was talking about this year, 2022, is 20 years since they did Nightline. That was a big deal. That show was gonna air in 2001, but because 9/11 hit, they didn't air it until next year, the year after, 2002. And I was privileged to have William Bowen be the first person I got to interview here on Six Screens. And he mentioned that too. Does any of you guys... What?
Yeah, good evening. This is
Hi.
Dick.
Hi, Dick. You were there. Yes, you were there at protest.
Yeah, yes, I was. And I was proud to be there. I just want to mention that joining the Bethelite, this probably goes back maybe 10 years, but he had mentioned that he had visited some of the governing bodies' palatial homes on the Hudson, and one of them was a brown brick, and you walk in there, and it was a baby grand piano, and he said it was quite nice, and he said it was always supposed to be on a hush up, be quiet about it, but joining the Bethelite did tell us that the governing body lived very, very well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Dick?
Yes.
Dick, I don't want you to think I was trying to say anything about you. I do remember that conversation. I do remember the conversation about those homes. And I remember, I think you were asking Johnny, and then I came in to that same conversation, and Johnny said they don't have big palatial homes along the river. He said, but they have big rooms. That was his answer. And I explained the grand pianos. I told you that the 124 building, for example, has a grand piano in its lobby. I used to play it. The Towers building has a grand piano in its lobby. The 30 building, the one that Barbara mentioned, that new building was supposed to be kind of next to that. The 30 building on around the second or third floor had a grand piano in an auditorium. So there are grand pianos around there. And every Bethelite knows that those lobbies have grand pianos. Johnny said that no, they don't have homes, because I pushed the issue. And Johnny said, no, but they have big rooms. And I know they have big rooms because my first 3 days at Bethel, I cleaned one of the governing body's rooms. It was Brother Swingle's room. It was in the Towers. And it was bigger than the average Bethelite's room. Not giant size, but it was big, like people who have many years of full-time service who can get a room on bid.
Well, thank you for that clarification. Just let me ask you something. Was it true that Jeffrey Jackson had a Bentley he drove around in and had, I was told there was a fleet of luxury cars that was at the behest of the governing body. Is that true?
The current governing body, I've never met any of them. Well, Brother Let, I did meet Brother Let around the year 2007. The current governing body, I don't know them, especially since they've moved from Brooklyn to another location. As long as they were in Brooklyn, I could have feedback. But now that they're in another place, it's like you feel cut off from that memory some, a little bit more. What I do know about their cars is what I do know about the car arrangement. I remember that Max Larson had a nice car, but it wasn't a brand new car. It was his own car, and it was nice. He kept it looking nice. Sometime around 1990, I remember as a congregation elder, they came out with an arrangement where they were leasing cars for circuit overseers, and I guess maybe some of the brothers who had so many years of full-time service who were in special full-time service. They did come out with some kind of an arrangement. But as far as Bentleys, I personally never saw a Bentley at Bethel. I'm sure he could have one if he has the means. If he's got a rich family, you've got the means, you can have that kind of stuff. But I personally have never seen a Bentley at Bethel.
Well, Zach, let me jump in here. Now, Zach, you're going back, years ago, 15, 20 years ago.
Let me say something to you, Rick. Dick just now asked me a question, and I'm always clear. I always say I was at Bethel mid to late 80s. I don't try to go beyond what I might know about. I only answer the questions, and what I started out talking about was the palatial homes of the supposed palatial homes. That's what I was explaining. That's what I know about. I know where they lived. I know they didn't have special palatial homes. I know there were grand pianos at Bethel. People who could play them in their extra time, they would play them. People who were visiting Bethel would crowd around you, and they would have a ball just singing kingdom songs. It was so interesting that a brother was getting married. This is after I left Bethel. And the brother was getting married, and there's a place up in Connecticut that you'd go to. So he asked me if I could play the piano. Well, I have a digital piano. I had to take that thing in a car and go up and play. And he said, I don't want you playing the piano for the reception. He said, because what will happen is you'll be playing the piano, everybody will be crowded around you, and nobody will be paying attention to me and my wife. Because he used to see that happen at Bethel. In the lobby, there are these grand piano in Towers, a grand piano in 124, and people would see you playing, they'd crowd around, get a song book, and start singing. So I'm only answering the stuff I know. I've never seen, like you said 15, 20 years ago, even when I went back to Bethel, I never saw a Bentley there. I'm not saying no one has a Bentley, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it if a person does have it.
Well, no, what the reason why I bring it up, Zach, is things have changed since you went to Bethel. This is not, I mean, you have to recognize this isn't your grandfather's organization anymore. I mean, I've posted up here, I don't know if you've been on or not, but I've been showing you some of the houses, some of the mansions that the Watchtower owns. I mean, I've been doing that. It's readily available. The big palatial mansions owned by the Watchtower. I mean, wouldn't the highest officials be able to have a mansion like that? I mean, what are they going to give them to the rank and file? Who would own these? I mean,
I think someone asked, did the governing body live at Bethel full time? Live there full time, or do they have palatial homes? I don't know if Barbara Anderson knows the direction that things can go, but I know the direction that things can go because I come on all the time. And the governing body lives at Bethel full time for the most part. There are times when they go around the world. They do a person may do a zone visit. That does happen, and it's some of the foreign branches are much fancier than the United States branch.
Well,
So,
Zach, I want you just I want you
I'm
just.
not going to argue this because I don't have the tools to argue, and I don't think you can convince me either by saying you put up pictures. I didn't mean to go there.
Well, I'm not going to go with pictures. I'm going to go with some facts. You just listen to me for a second.
Oh my goodness.
Do you think the Watchtower organization has a lot of money today after selling all the real estate? Do you think they have more than a few $1 million?
Rick, I think the Watchtower organization had a lot of money before they sold off the property.
All right, but would you be willing to say that?
I think they would have to have they have a ton of money. There are things I've heard, conversations I've been on with Watchtower people that I've mentioned on 6 Screens.
I know.
And I know they have a ton.
All right, so I mean, it's feasible to believe that they have well over $1 billion. Okay, now
that sounds reasonable.
So let's just go with this. Let's go with Zachary. Let's go with Zachary and Zachary's family. If you want, there's a big mega jackpot tonight on Powerball. I think it's like $1 million.
I just saw that. Yeah.
$1.5 billion. If all of a sudden Zachary won that $1.5 billion, do you think you and your family would be living in Shantyville? Come on.
My family doesn't live in Shantyville. I don't live in Shantyville. Well, I'm
not saying that you do. I'm using the. saying if you have that kind of money, I mean, in the Watchtower does, would their top dogs be living in just menial places? Come on.
I think I do. Okay.
This is like the Trinity. It's a mystery. But go on, gentlemen.
I don't think that living, when I was at Watchtower, living in Brooklyn Heights with the view of the East River and maybe the World Trade Center on Montague Street with Theo from the Cosbys on a skateboard, that doesn't sound like shantytown to me.
No, well, the point I'm trying to make.
I don't think I know the point you're trying to make, but why are you trying to make that point with me?
Well,
what are you trying to convince me?
Well,
you're trying to tell me they live in mansions. I don't care whether they live in mansions or not.
Okay, but I mean, you seem to be doubting the fact that the governing body lives high off the hog. Are you doubting?
Well, see, Rick, he did mention from the time that he was there, what he observed. That's all he was talking about during his time, not during this time. And I think, Rick, you might be talking about this time.
I almost said Barbara Streisand.
I know, I've done it too. Barbara Walters, Barbara Streisand. All the Barbaras we've loved before.
Barbara Anderson said that when she went home, her mother said, "You live like a queen."
Yes.
Did you hear her say that, Rick, or not?
I heard her say that. So, I mean, what do you think
of? She said, and she also said, because I know exactly what she's saying. She also said, well, she says we got $80 a month, and she said my son got $100 a month. She said later on, she said, but $80 a month. She said it was for expenses. She said they paid a lot of your stuff for you. You had, how much would the rent have been? So what was I getting for living in Brooklyn Heights? I got an $80 allowance and I lived in Brooklyn Heights. So the living was nice and I got 3 square meals a day plus I could glean leftovers from the table. So I don't know, were you trying to make it sound like everybody's living at a poverty level, and they go off and live in some palatial mansions. I used to, when I was there, I saw the governing body every day. One presided over the table. They had tables assigned to them. You were assigned to a governing body table or not, and you saw those people every day. I don't know why are you trying to convince me, Rick? I've made my statement.
I don't know. If
you don't need to convince. You need to win an argument with me. It seems. Drop it.
No,
drop it and let Linda have her show.
Can I ask Zach a question, please?
I'm good with that.
Now, but go ahead.
Oh, sure. It was. I didn't realize that you were at Bethel, and I was wondering, did you also get paid that really terrible wage, $100 per month? And did you supplement that income the same way that Barbara did by somehow going through huge piles of clothing and things like that?
First of all, my brother, I did not get $100 a month. I got $80 a month.
Oh, yeah. You said that first. I wasn't sure when.
I got $80 a month. And remember, Barbara mentioned, but you get extra money, and they call it a clothing thing. So when I was there, you got an extra $20 deposited to an expense account that you could access after December 31st. $20 a month, and it went up with the more years of full-time service that you had. And I think the most you got at that time was maybe up to $30 a month. So I did have that. I did only get $80 a month, but I didn't have to buy my own food, and I didn't have to pay my own rent. And did I go to the clothing donated, they called it? Yes, I did. I did go to donated, and it could be an unfair thing because one time a department store donated shoes and stuff.
Oh, nice.
And they donated all these shoes and brand new stuff. And they said, so if you have, you could go to donated, people with 20 years of full-time service. This is just an example of how they did it. You can go on Monday. And if you have 15 years of full-time service, you can go on Tuesday. And if you have 10 years of full-time service, Wednesday. 5 years of full-time service, Thursday. Everybody else on Friday. And so by the time it got to Friday, do you think there was anything useful? So it favored people with a lot more years. And that's how everything was at Bethel. The more years of full-time service you had, the more favored you were. You bid on rooms. You could bid on rooms, and you would win the bid based on the number of years of full-time service you had. So that's why the people with 20 years of full-time service had the really nice rooms. That's why a governing body member would have really nice rooms because they had 25 years of full-time service, 30 years of full-time service. You know, so they got the nicest rooms that there was. And some people didn't get nicer rooms. So
I have a comment here from the chat in the YouTube chat, and it's Esther saying, my aunt in Toronto said the same thing. She loved it in Bethel because all of their laundry was done for them, and even her lingerie was ironed and hung on hangers. How cool is that?
Yeah.
That's
was
so
wonderful.
Cool.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
All your clothes had a little sticker in them. It had
Did they?
Your number and your room number. They put
That's
that
so
in your
cool.
clothes. So if it got lost, you'd get it right back. Yeah,
Very cool.
Once a week, you dump your clothes. You get your clothes and put them in the hoppers. If you were in the box, you had to put them in the hoppers. But the rest of Bethel, you wrap all your clothes up and drop them down a chute, I believe. And then the next day you would come home and your clothes would be all pressed and ironed and wrapped up like they had come from the dry cleaners, and they'd be sitting in the middle of your bed.
You know, that just makes that whole team thing work more efficiently. if these services are done for the Bethelites, you know.
I know. Yes. How many people have you heard say they couldn't wait to get out of Bethel?
I haven't.
Marcus Vaughn.
I've heard. Good. I'm
Vaughn.
glad you're bringing him up. But I've heard Pixie talk about a friend of hers father's that made a phone call one day and said, "Get me out of here." That's an old school, many years back story. That's the only one I've heard of. But I've, no, I've never heard. Yeah, go on about Marcus.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, isn't his story that they were sending Bethelites home, and he ended up being one of them. And one day they came to his room and said, "Where's your car?"
Yes,
I guess
yes.
Bethel elders, "Where's your car?" And they start packing up his stuff. He tells them where the car is. They start packing up his stuff, and they take him out to the car. I don't see a lot of people who are dying to get out of there. There are things you don't like, but when you come home and see all your clothes folded nicely on your bed, that
must be wonderful. That's beautiful. And
I have another question. Do they have to scrub their own floors and bathrooms, or is that done also?
That's done also.
Well, then they're living in a French hotel. It sounds pretty nice. Catered food too. They got the cafeteria. Yeah.
Is that cleaning done by other people at Bethel, though?
Yes. The first day, back in my time, you come to Bethel on a Friday, and Saturday you have like an orientation where you go to the Bethel office and you fill out forms and stuff, and then give them your social security number, all that stuff, and then Monday morning, Tuesday morning, and Wednesday morning you work along with the housekeeper in cleaning rooms so that you know what's required of you, the condition you should leave your room in. Because you don't leave it all messy. You have to make up your own bed and all that stuff. But that's how I know about Brother Swingle's room. Because when I had to clean rooms with the housekeeper in the morning for 3 days, when I had to do that, I got to see Brother Swingle's room because it was on her route. And I will say he did break rules, because the rule is that you're not supposed to have stuff on your furniture unless it's decorative, because that makes it harder for it to be cleaned. And you're supposed to limit it to only 3 things on each surface, 3 decorative items on surface, not more than that. But Brother Swingle's surfaces were piled up.
Now, didn't Brother Swindle have an assistant to help him during his days? Do you recall that?
Did he have an assistant?
Yes.
You mean at work?
Yes,
At
like
work
throughout his day, just to assist him with his day. I might have the timing off. That's why I'm asking. During your time there, did he have an assistant?
I would think that he had someone people who work for him at work.
Okay.
But I think Brother Swingle was married.
Okay.
It was Brother Swingle and his wife, Brother and Sister Swingle. I think that I don't know of any extra arrangement like that.
Then I must be thinking of another person.
Yeah, and I think Fred Franz had extra. When he started losing his eyesight, I heard that there was a brother leading him. When he was losing it, I would see him walking by himself, going from the 25 building up Columbia Heights to the 124 building where he lived and also would have eaten. But then I heard that there was a brother actually leading him I think I heard from Brother Larson. So he said, so they think that he's lost whatever sight he had.
Do we know why he was losing his sight?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Just
know.
curious. Why. Okay. Because I remember during the book of Crises of Conscience, Ray would talk about how his uncle Fred would come to their room, and his eyesight was already spoken of by Ray as being bad. You know, getting bad at that time. So that's before 1980, just at least, you know, a few years before 1980, I would assume.
Yeah. So it was gone for over a period of many years. It was,
yes.
I guess, going down. Yeah.
Yes. Rick, do you happen to have that video set up to where we could play it? And I just wanted to play it tonight because I really want to say, yay, Kevin's back. See, Kevin, the Watchtower went after him. They wanted to get his ID, and they wanted to tell his family. And I did not know he was still a practicing witness. I did not know until I found out the Watchtower went after him. Eventually, the Watchtower gave up. They never got his true identity, and he just laid low for a long time. And now, you know, that's what you do, especially when the Watchtower is taking you to court, right?
Yeah.
But to hear that he had a new video out, I was thrilled. But because this is the anniversary weekend, I really wanted to share with you guys his work, and especially his work on the anniversary of this headquarters protest.
Yeah, well, we're ready to go. You want me to play the whole video, Linda?
Yes, it's not very long, and I think everybody's going to enjoy it.
All right, well, let's play it right now. Let's share it, and
Okay.
we'll get the wheels moving here. I think we're ready to go.
Remember the 5th of November. Apostates, treason, plots. We see no reason why Watchtower's crimes should ever be forgot.
I'm getting an echo. Are you, Rick?
Hold on 1 second. Let me try a couple things. Let me just.
I'm glad the words are on there.
So is it a bad echo? A bad echo?
Little bit, yeah.
All right, let's try this. Let's see if we can't. We got a bunch of microphones going here. So let me shut a couple of mics off.
Okay.
Let me just check this. Just give me a second. Just because we got 6 computers running here. So I'm not sure why that's picking up as a bad echo.
Yeah. Somebody said small echo. So I agree.
All right. So let's see if we can't end that. Let me get in right here now. Let's see if this makes a difference.
It's so worth it. Okay.
To visit Watchtower headquarters.
No, it's not.
Remember.
Work.
That sounded better.
Okay. Give me a second here, Linda. Let me just see what we can do here to stop this echo. I'm looking over in different things here. Let me try this. Let's try this.
The vast apostate army
sounds great. I do not hear an echo.
Took this invitation to heart. They came from all.
Just give us a second. Now we're getting no sound at all. Okay. Let me just
I'm hearing
try
it.
one more thing here. Just give us a second.
Sure.
I don't want echoing, but I'm just wondering why we're not getting any sound here now.
I'm hearing it.
All right, let's try this.
Okay.
Remember the 5th of November.
Nope.
Apostates, treason, and
now we're not
plots.
getting anything to sound here at all. Let me just
I'm hearing
check
it though.
what's happening here. Darn it.
Are you hearing me, Rick?
We see no reason why Watchtower's crimes should ever be forgotten.
Well, we had it, but now we have nothing. We have no sound at all, which is freaky to me.
So
Get all the volume up.
YouTube is saying that they do hear it. YouTube says they do hear it. And I hear it as
There
well.
is often counsel suggesting that people should make the effort to visit.
Well, for some reason here, Linda, we're having some
Watchtower
trouble with the
headquarters.
sound here. For some
Vast
reason, I'm
apostate
not
army
sure
took
what
this-
I did.
I don't hear a problem. I do not hear a problem with the sound,
I'm
Rick.
on YouTube, and I have sound there, and it's perfect. But maybe somebody has to reboot or something, or I mean refresh.
Well, that's the problem that we have here. That's it could be in people's computers as well.
Right.
But you were hearing it. You were hearing it on YouTube pretty well,
Yeah.
were you? Yeah. Okay. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So that.
And there was no echo. So I guess, every once in a while I have to refresh myself. Well, not myself, but even Facebook. You have to, if you're on there too long, and all of a sudden everything gets a little
Real
wacko.
estate insiders call this the
It's
freedom
art.
dog.
We
Sign
spend a
it
lot of
and you
hours
can
on
potentially
here,
make
so
recurring income from it.
it's bound to happen.
Well, when you have 6 computers running and trying to satisfy everybody, we're trying to find. I mean, I have no commercial breaks here or anything, so it's all like in real time. So it's hard to really get this all together. Some people say, well, they can't do it. There's an echo. Then I play around with stuff, and then we have issues. But not complaining, just explaining.
I know. But if everybody said it, that's a different story. But it's sporadic.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's see. We are having some issues even getting this to play now at all, even though I.
Well, let me see. I'm going to mute and then I'm going to put it on. I don't want any feedback. So let me see what I got.
Well, about the last 11 times you started it, it sounded very good.
Start from scratch once again. Let's see what we can do here.
Okay.
Just can't get any sound. The sound is not coming forth. So,
okay. Well, we've got sound and I'm listening to myself, which I hate to listen to, but yeah, so it's kind of repeating itself now, but I don't know.
Well, we might not be able to play it. I mean, somehow, some way, something got messed up here, and it's not coming forth. I tried to get the echo out, but now I can't get any sound at all. So that's not making sense to me.
Okay. However you want to do it, Rick. It's not showing on the video suite, or it's not showing
because you had a few
StreamYard
that you started messing with it, and then it got messed up. So it's probably on our or their end.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking. So in the meantime,
and then you were trying to fix it, and then that's what messed it up.
Right.
Mostly.
Yeah.
But it's once you get it, then the heck with it. Then they'll have to deal with it themselves.
Yeah.
Will you give it one more try?
So I don't know if we're going to be able to play it or not. For some reason, it just didn't. Once I did that, I have no sound at all. Just can't get it. Let me try one more time.
Thank you, Rick.
It's really a shame because I wanted to play it, but might not.
They have you. They have your voice in it too.
You were
Rick,
trying
it's really fun.
to appease everybody, but they don't realize that sometimes they have to refresh or leave and come back, and then everything is fine.
Right. So let me go right in here once again and try. If we can't do it this time, then we're not going to be able to get it back. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well, Linda, why don't we just talk a little bit here and let me play around with this for a bit, okay?
Sure. Either way, Kevin McFree is back,
Can
and
you
I
hear me, Linda?
definitely want. Yes.
Can't even
Yes,
hear
I
Linda
can.
now. I don't know what happened. We
This is
lost
too
her
crazy.
sound
Ah,
too.
this is too
So
crazy.
stay with us. Boy, I don't know. I didn't do anything different. Just trying to play around with the sound a little bit, and all of a sudden everything's off. Yeah, so we're just gonna have to go with what Carrie was saying. Some can't hear it, some can. And then when I play around with it, we seem to lose all the calls. So let me see why this is happening.
So I am hearing you, Rick, but
Right now.
I can hear you, Rick. Are you hearing me?
Rick, I can hear Linda, and I can hear you, but you don't hear each other.
Weston's in the house.
Oh.
Weston.
You can't hear
Weston.
her, and she was laughing, and you were talking, and so
And
now,
just to make it more confusing, I can hear Rick, but not Linda, but I can hear
This
the lady.
This is like such a high class joint. I tell you what. Hallelujah.
I can hear everybody but Linda.
I can't hear Linda
Yeah,
either.
me too.
Hey,
Yeah,
Brad.
That's too funny.
I hear Brad
Hey,
and
Pixie.
Brad,
Carrie
see if you talk to John Oates in Australia. He lives in Australia.
John Oates.
John Oates. And it's Oates. And he's the one that does the speech reversal.
Oh, okay.
And he's been on Coast to Coast a lot. And I've talked to him, and he's got an app where you could do speech reversals of different convention speeches and things and see what the governing body is really thinking.
Yeah, well, I started looking into that this week on my computer, and I've actually started stripping down certain audio that I have. I haven't found anything yet, but
okay.
I'm on my
Well,
way.
you might want to talk to him. He's on Facebook. He's got a personal page and his company page, and he may be able to give you some audio tips. And if you need money to get the app or whatever, let me know. It's a real interest of mine.
Oh, okay, yep. I'll get in contact with him this week. Definitely. Thank you. How do you spell his last name? How did you spell his last name? Sorry, Pixie.
Oates. Oates.
Oh, like Hall and Oates. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you. I'm sending him a message right now.
Okay.
Well, Linda, we're not hearing you for some reason. We're not hearing you on here. I think
That's
you guys can all hear
really
me.
too bad.
Pasta Babe. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
That's
Can
really
you hear
too
me,
bad.
Pasta Babe?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
1, 2, 3. Hello, Pasta Babe. My speakers are working. It's just I don't know why Pasta Babe is off. I don't know if she adjusted something on her sound or not. But hello, Linda. Can you hear me? Well, no,
Hello.
she can't. I don't know what to do at this point. She evidently clicked on something that is not letting us hear her. I don't want to have to end the broadcast, but we might have to and go to the telephone line. Start cam. Linda, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. The show is still live. Yes, I can. I can hear you.
You guys on YouTube hear me?
Everybody on YouTube, for the most.
Sure.
They said they heard both ends, so.
Australia, and I've got Zach, but I don't have Linda.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
sure what happened to Linda.
Are you on the phone or are you on YouTube?
Her phone is not.
You know something? I just unmuted my YouTube. I can't hear Linda on the phone, but I think you can hear her on YouTube.
Ah, okay.
YouTube yes, they're answering it, saying that they are hearing me.
Linda, say something. Yeah, you can hear her on YouTube.
This is too
Linda, can you
funny.
hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, I'm going to jump out of here. I'm going to let Linda do the program. I'm not going to be able to get her dub thing up here.
Yes, I can. There I am.
Yes, I can hear you.
I
Well,
just
we
heard
can't hear
myself
her.
there.
All right, Linda, take the program away. We can't get that dub up. Something went wrong
Okay.
with that, so just take the program away. We can't get that up. Talk a little bit about it.
Okie dokie. Okay. Everyone can hear you, Linda. Press 1914. I love it. 1914. Oh, that's too funny. So let me go and talk a little bit about last week. Weston Campbell came in last week and said we could not hear Linda. I'm going to tell you what happened, Weston, and it took me today to relook at everything. When the show started last week.
Not too bad.
Can you hear me?
Hello, Linda.
Brad? Wow. I'm here and I'm talking. I'm here and I'm talking.
Well, for some reason, we're having some trouble here tonight with Linda's sound. I'm not sure what's happening. Frank's, I'm not.
Can everyone hear me?
We can hear you. Linda, let's go to the telephone line. We're going to abort the YouTube tonight. We're going to abort the YouTube tonight.
We can hear you. Let's go to the telephone line. Really?
I could hear Linda on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, we can hear her there, but I'm not sure what's going on here. So I'm going to discontinue YouTube tonight. We're going to stop the YouTube feed. I hate to tell you folks, if you're listening in on YouTube, we're going to stop the YouTube feed because something is not working right here. We're not listening. Friends, we're going to end the YouTube feed. We'll bring Linda on the telephone line. So